Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. Gonna be a really short intro, I'm gonna be honest, not really a lot to say. Got 6 albums to get through, so we're just gonna get right to doing that. So, let's go. We start off with a sort of new act. As we suffer with The Fallen Pillars, I believe this is a debut album. These are a metalcore outfit from Canada. Sort of a metalcore hardcore punk thing, and this is a really strong start for them. I'm giving it an A-. The reason I'm giving it the minus is because the lyrics are a little bit ham-fisted with their delivery. Like, they tried to connect an overarching theme of, like, pillars representing the fall of, like, humanity and society and, like, politics and religion, and I just didn't get that. Like, you know, if you want to make a blatant political statement, no one's going to hold it against you. You don't need to try and wedge in some non-existent metaphors, but everything else is really good. It's performed really well. I really like how fast-paced the instrumental work is. It doesn't really waste a lot of time, so yeah, really strong start, and I think it's deserving of its grade, so I'm looking forward to more from these guys. And we move on to the next album, as I'm back with slightly better lighting. Dropkick Murphys with Turn Up That Dial. Now, yeah, I mean, it's Dropkick Murphys, you know, they're pretty freaking great, and I'm gonna give this album an A. Album? I'm gonna give this album an A. It's about what you would expect from them. I mean, it's just really great, really good, complex instrumentation from them, just a really fun vibe to the whole thing. I've always liked their lyrical content just being, you know, about where they come from and, like, praising the stories that they have and the dumb shit they got up to as younger people, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I just really like that style from them, and I think an A is a really good grade. This could be, like, top 20 worthy at the very least. I super enjoyed this. I think it's their best one since Going Out in Style, personally. But, you know, yeah, find this one out for yourself. Really, really good. And we go from one long-serving band to another long-serving band. It's Gojira with their new album Fortitude. It's my first Gojira album. So they're a French band who named themselves after the original Japanese name for Godzilla, which is what Westerners call Gojira, which is his name in Japan. I thought this album was pretty strong. There were really good grooves. I was expecting it to be a bit more extreme, but apparently in more recent years the band haven't been as extreme. I think this is their first album in 5 years. I could be wrong about that. I'm giving this a B+, though. I liked a lot of it. The instrumentation was really, really solid, as I was expecting. I've only heard a couple of Gojira songs before this album. It was very fun, though. Well, as fun as it could be. Like, it did try to shine a positive light on some of the grief that they'd shared over from their previous album. It did, unfortunately, make its way to this one, but they're trying to paint it in a slightly more positive way. It can drag a tiny bit sometimes, but it's, you know, what it's filled with, like, with the really solid, just riffage all around. I'm not going to complain too badly about that, so, yeah, once again, just really solid. Really good. Not bad for my first Gojira album, so I can say that with certainty. Next up, a band that haven't been around as long, but they've been around fairly long, Manchester Orchestra with their new album, The Million Masks of God. Now, despite being called Manchester Orchestra, they're from Atlanta, Georgia, and they don't play any horns or violin or anything like that. They do use synth, though, to sort of emulate their sounds, I think. I'm giving this one a B. I thought for my first Manchester Orchestra album it was really good, just solid enough. Indie rock. I forgot to mention Dropkick Murphys' style of Celtic punk, by the way, but I don't really need to mention that because it's Dropkick Murphys. But anyway, back to this one. Yeah, I liked it. You know, I liked it a lot more than I thought it would. Once again, like Gojira's album, it can drag a little bit. It does try to find some weird ways to fill the time. A lot of it does work, though. You know, it's structured together nicely. I think the performances are quite solid. It's a really tightly knit album, too, so it's put together well enough. Yeah, I enjoyed it at the very least, you know, and that's about what I was expecting. I mean, they've probably done stuff that goes a little bit harder, but for what it is, for a good indie rock album, it is a good indie rock album. Next up, we have another sort of new-ish act, Off the Cross with their album Enjoy It While It Lasts. Now, these guys are from Belgium. I think this is their first full album in about 4-ish years. It's been a fair while. They did put out an EP in the time between. And this is my first full album by them, and it wasn't a great impression. I'm giving this a D. Now, I've sort of made reference to the fact that a lot of the albums up to this point have not meandered as much. Enjoy It While It Lasts really knows how to slow its pacing in a really bad way. Oh my god, there's just, like, it's a lot of the worst generic metalcore tropes. Like, they just looked at the cookbook of, you know, what can we do to be a successful metalcore band, and just followed like the first few pages. I did not enjoy this. I just thought it was really dull and bland. There was nothing to it. There's just like so much build-up, so little in the middle, and then so much fucking plodding by the end. And that's not just for the album structure, it's for every song, and there's 11 of the buggers. And to be honest, you wouldn't think that 11-song stretch across 45 minutes would be bad, because that's a fairly standard album length, especially for metalcore, but it feels so underwhelming. There's nothing to it. The performances are quite phoned in. The production is good, though. The production is surprisingly good. But yeah, I can't give this album more than a D. I just flat out did not really enjoy this a lot. And finally, we do reach a bit of a sad case. Tetrarch with their second album, Unstable. Now, these guys have been around for 14 years. They put out their debut, which was self-released back in 2017. This is their first album in 4 years. It's on Napalm Records. They're a pretty good new metalcore band, and to be fair to them, they have a lot going for them. They've adopted a really, like, easy to get into style with the sort of new metalcore thing, especially, like, over the last 4 years, how much that has been improving with bands like Dead and My Enemies and I, and Cane Hill, who have taken a bit of a turn from it lately, but they still sound fucking great. So I'm giving this album a B-, so I am giving it a good grade, but the reason for that is because I feel like more of the band needed to show through. I will give credit to guitarist Diamond Rowe, though. She fucking kills it. She's definitely the best performer on this album. The drummer, whose name I forget, is the second one. Like, second place at least. They're all really solid, and they've got, like, really good chemistry with each other, you can tell that. But the production just sort of really badly holds it down. There's so much vocal layering on lead vocalist Josh Ford's voice, and I was like, just let the dude sing. He can sing. He can scream quite well, but his screams are so overlaid that it becomes lost. It doesn't sound like backing vocals, it just sounds like, you know, they're trying to find ways to make his voice sound better. Just let him do one thing and let that flow through. I mean, for its production on a new metal album, shouldn't be this difficult to get right. Then again, it is Napalm and they can be hit and miss with it, so, you know, yeah, that's probably part of the reason. All in all, I thought it was really good. I thought the lyrical themes could have been a bit more broad. Like, I do like the central theme of instability, you know, like mentally, like wanting to be an outcast, wanting to be a loner. I do get that. You know, it was one of the reasons why I fell in love with Linkin Park. Speaking of which, Tetrarch are a band that need to find their own identity, and doing impressions, admittedly decent ones of Slipknot and Korn and Linkin Park, is not the way to do it, and I don't think that they should continue doing it. The album does have its strengths, mostly in the guitar work by Diamond Rowe, and the structuring is really fast-paced for the most part. It does stick to one gear, but it sticks to that gear quite well. They need like a new, they need a new studio, I think. Not a new studio, they need a new label, or at least a new producer. I do not think that Napalm is a good fit for them. I think it's too big of a label for them, if that makes sense, but yeah, they need to make a couple of changes, and I think with the right changes, they could be a lot more higher up. But yeah, a B-. Good effort. It's not their fault that it went the way it did. So that will about do it for another episode of this. In the next episode, I will also have 6 albums to listen to. Now I've got to grade those before I can... not listen to talk about. Now I've got to grade those, obviously. And the next thing you'll see me for, hopefully, if I can get this video edited, will be PPW versus AVW tonight. The go-home show for War of Attrition. It's going to be a fucking great, great show. So, yeah, I'll see you all hopefully tonight. And definitely on Friday. On Friday night, because it's going to be fucking great. The next video, I can promise, will either be another Music of the Week, or it might be the video game review of Spiritfarer. I don't know if I'll get that done this week or next week. We'll find out. But as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.